opponent of that glory of escape, the black inconscient swung its dragon tail, lashing a, a slumberous infinite by its force into the deep obscurities of form. Death lay beneath him like a gate of sheep.
Sleep, sleep.
Sleep, sleep, sleep.
Okay, so there is always an opponent in our life.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it can be outside of us, sometimes it can be in us. And that is the opponent that we have to grapple with in life. So we see that there is an opposition to Ashwapati's glory of escape. And that opposition is this opponent with this black inconscient swung its tail. And Sri Aurobindo tells us that the inconscient itself is only an involved state of consciousness, which, like the Tao or Shunya, though in a different way, contains all things suppressed within it, so that under a pressure from above or within, all can evolve out of it. So that's the most important thing here. And it swung its dragon tail. Well, you know, the dragon is something that was actually real before. And
Mhm.
I'm just working with Ranganath now, and we got into that aspect where Sri Aurobindo talks about the dragon. And he says anything that was cannot disappear. It always is. So even though it seems to be a mythical creature, fire
Mhm.
breathing, it
Mhm.
did exist.
Okay.
Maybe in occult times. So anyway, it lashes this sleeping infinite by its force, and it lashes it into the deep obscurities of form. So it seems that this obscurity, this darkness,
Okay.
is entering into form. And therefore, Ashwapati experiences death that lay beneath him just like a gate of sleep. It's not the death we understand, it's just like a gate of sleep.
Okay.
So carry on now.
Okay. One pointed to the immaculate delight, questing for God as for splendid prey. The page. He mounted, burning like a cone of fire.
Okay, so this is Ashwapati, and
Uh-huh.
he is questing for God like like as for a splendid prey when we're questing for something as a hunter, questing
Mhm.
its prey. And so Ashwapati is doing that, and he mounted in this ascent, this aspiration, like a burning like a cone of fire. And now Sri Aurobindo is going to tell us something very important.
Okay. To a few is given that godlike rare release.
Yes, only to a few. And that is to much more than even nirvana, but it's a release into the divine presence and the uniting with it. So only a few are given that. God, like he calls it a release because it's a release from our ignorance that we live in, body, life, and mind. So it is a release from that. So let's see what else happens now. One,
Okay. One among many thousands, never touched, engrossed in the external world's design, is chosen by a secret witness eye and driven by a pointing hand of light across his soul's unmapped immensitudes.
so we know this is Sri Aurobindo now speaking autobiographically. He is one, of course, among many thousands that are never touched. And Mother has told us again and again that maybe 90 or more percent of the world doesn't even know that there is a psychic being. But Ashwapati, Sri Aurobindo, is one among many thousand never touched because they are engrossed. In other words, their attention is monopolized, we could say, by
Mhm.
the external world's design, by the design of the external world. And most of us are. I mean, we walk on the street, we have to watch out for motorcycles and we watch out for automobiles. We we go someplace and we have to see that the neighborhood is acceptable, it's all right. So we are to a great extent engrossed in the external world's design. And
Mhm.
yet, this one among the many thousands is chosen by a secret witness I, capitalize I, and even driven by a pointing hand of light, capitalize L,
Yes.
across his soul's unmapped immensitudes. Now, that's an interesting word, immensitudes. And Sri Aurobindo tells us,
Mhm.
I take upon myself the right to coin new words. Immensitudes is not any more fantastic than infinitudes to pair infinity. So he coined the word immensitudes.
Okay. Okay.
That's Sri Aurobindo's. He coined many words in Savitri.
Mhm.
We'll be learning about them. So let's carry on now. A pilgrim,
A pilgrim of that everlasting truth, our measures cannot hold his measureless. He has turned from the voices of the narrow realm and left the light lane, sorry, and left the little lane of human time.
little lane,
Little lane, okay.
and left. You see, you have many L's here, so it's a little
Right.
difficult. Left little lane, and left the little lane of human time. So Ashwapati has got there, but a
Mhm.
pilgrim of what? A pilgrim of the everlasting truth. And our measures, our intellect, all of our thoughts and everything, cannot hold his measureless mind. What has he done then? He has turned from the voices of the narrow realm, that's our voices, and left the little lane of human time. So he's not even on the path of time anymore. He's above it. He is above it. It's very important, huh?
Okay.
Okay,
So
we
he's
can carry
in a
on a little
different.
more.
So is this the super mind where he is right now, the higher consciousness?
He's in the higher consciousness, but he doesn't tell us yet whether
Oh,
it is the supermind or not. He's we have to go through the whole canto first.
oh, okay.
Okay.
In the hushed precincts of a vast,
Precincts. Precincts.
okay, precincts. In the hushed precincts of a vaster plan, he treads the vestibules of the unseen, or listens following a bodiless guide to a lonely cry in boundless vacancy.
So we have to see what this is now. A precinct is a neighborhood.
Can you repeat that, Narad sir, one more time? Precinct
Yes,
is?
a precinct is a neighborhood.
Neighborhood, okay.
Yeah, in a figurative sense, of course. So, in these hushed neighborhoods, precincts of a vaster plan, what is he doing? He treads the vestibules of the unseen. And the vestibules are passages or halls between the outer door and the interior parts of a house.
Okay.
And when I was um, very close to the ashram, just a street away, I had to pay this man black money to have a flat. And when you entered his house, there was a vestibule where he would come out and sit with you, but you were not allowed inside the house. Most
Got
Tamil, most Tamil houses are like that.
it.
So Ashwapati is now treading the vestibules of the unseen. Or
Okay.
he listens, following a bodiless guide. Okay, this guide does not have a body, and that's very important.
Okay.
So I'll go just a little bit here. Um, uh, he is following a person, but that person is the guide. He is the guru. And Sri Aurobindo tells us in Essays Divine and Human, find the guide secret within you, or housed in an earthly body. Hearken to his voice and follow always the way that he points. At the end is the light that fails not, the truth that deceives not, the power that neither strays nor stumbles, the wide freedom, the ineffable beatitude. And that's what he tells all of us, that we have to find that guide who is secret within you, or, and this is so important, housed in an earthly body. Mother and Sri Aurobindo were housed in an earthly body. He doesn't say himself, because Sri Aurobindo is not like that. But he says, secret within you or housed in an earthly body. And then he says, hearken, which is an older word, but it was often used in his time. Tagore came to Sri Aurobindo and he said, hearken unto me, listen to me, you are the future. So we hearken, we listen to. And what is he listening to? A lonely cry in boundless vacancy. Vacancy, of course, is unoccupied space.
Mhm.
And now he's going to tell us where Ashwapati is living.
Okay. Narad sir, can you elaborate a little bit on that lonely cry? I mean, is that the guidance that is coming, or is it different?
No, it's a cry here is not a cry as we know it. It's a call.
It's a call. Okay.
So it's a lonely call in boundless vacancy.
Okay. Got you.
The birds cried in the air, but they're not crying. They just made a sound. They called.
Okay.
Okay.
I-
Now
Okay,
you have to continue.
sure. All the deep cosmic murmur falling still, he lives in the hush before the world was born, his soul left naked to the timeless one.
So bare, his soul is left bare. There's nothing covering it. There's um, no falsehood in him at all. And
Mhm.
so all the deep cosmic murmur is now falling still. There's such silence, you see. He lives in the hush before the world was born. His soul left naked to the timeless one. We can go just a little more and then you have to read the whole thing. Four more lines.
Far from compulsion of created things, thoughts and its shadowy idols disappear. The molds of form and person are undone. The ineffable whiteness knows him for its own.
Yes, he is very far from this compulsion, this act of being compelled by created things.
Mm.
Created, they can be anything in our world, buildings, it can be anything at all. And
Mhm.
even thought and its shadowy idols disappear. Even thought is now gone from him. And that's when he met with Lily and silenced his mind in one day.
Mhm.
Thought was gone, everything was gone. And when one silences one's mind,
Mhm.
then from the highest realms, visions come
Got
because you're not allowing the play of these forces that we know all too well to come into your mind. So thought and its shadowy idols disappear.
Mm.
Molds of form and person are undone. Now that's a very interesting line because there is no more form where he is, and there's no more person. There's no thing that you can say this is a mold of form or mold of person. Everything is undone. And what happens now? There's a colon at the end.
Mhm.
The ineffable means incapable of being expressed.
Mhm. Okay.
The ineffable wideness.
Opponent of that glory of escape, the black inconscient swung its dragon tail, lashing a sumless infinite by its force into the deep obscurities of form. Death lay beneath him like a gate of sleep, one pointed to immaculate delight, questing for God as for a splendid prey. He mounted, burning like a cone of fire. To you is given that godlike rare release, one among many thousands, never touched, engrossed in the external world's design, is chosen by a secret witness eye and driven by a pointing hand of light across his soul's unmapped immensitudes. A pilgrim of the everlasting truth, our measures cannot hold his measureless mind. He has turned from the voices of the narrow realm and left the little lane of human time. The hushed precincts of a vaster plan he treads the vestibules of the unseen, or listens following a bodiless guide to a lonely cry in boundless vacancy. All the deep cosmic murmur falling still, he lives in the hush before the world was born, his soul left naked to the timeless, far from compulsions of created things, and its shadowy idols disappear. The molds of form and person are undone. The ineffable wideness knows him for its own.
Very good. So I have to go.
Okay.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thanks a lot, Narad. Have a good
Sure.
week. Yeah.
Namaste. Namaste.